Oshkosh Media is government programming on GovTV, community programming on Life TV, and community radio on Oshkosh FM 101.9.
Welcome to the City Manager's Report, a look at city updates and a preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda.
And thanks for joining us for another City Manager's Report. I'm Andy Radig, and in a moment we'll be joined by Assistant City Manager John Fitzpatrick. As usual, in the first half of today's show, we'll have some municipal news updates, including items from city departments and things happening in Oshkosh. In the second half, we'll highlight items from the upcoming Tuesday, July 25th Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda. And with that, we bring in our Assistant City Manager, John Fitzpatrick. John, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
All right, perfect. Well, today we have a lot of things to talk about. One of those is Go Transit has a new bus pass ID program for students, and that begins this fall.
Right, yes. I think people are aware that this past year we've been working with the Oshkosh Area School District to try to help them out and help students out in terms of navigating the city and getting to where they need to go. So I think it's been a good partnership, and this is just some additional refinement of that program to make sure that we can do a good job with the people that are participating, and also make sure that it's a good environment for everybody that's traveling on the bus.
Right, exactly. And this has been in place for a little while. I believe it was in place last year, but students are able to get that pass at the Go Transit office or at the downtown transit center.
Right, yeah, I think the only real modification is requiring a little more identification for the people who are passengers. So I know that it's going to be effective September 1st, and grades 6 through 12 will be required to have this student ID card, and Go Transit uses a digital pass for middle and high school students.
Okay.
But it's just something that I think will make the program become a little more efficient.
Okay. And we did want to emphasize also that students in grades K through 12 are all eligible for free rides, but the pass requirement is for students in grades 6 through 12.
Right. For the younger folks, it's something that we didn't feel, and Oshkosh Area School District didn't feel was necessary.
Okay, and those passes and all the information about this are available on the Go Transit website as well as on the city's website. You can also find it there in the Hot Topics section on the city's website. So people can find information there. We also are underway with a lot of road construction projects. It is summer, and we are actually kind of excited about one of those is now open. It's Bowen Street opens on Friday, July 21st.
Right. It's really surprising for us. I think, as you know, Andy, we have a lot of projects that we're trying to get completed all the time for the citizenry.
Right.
And I know people certainly miss a little bit of the rain. Certainly, people that farm in the area or have friends or family that are farmers. I know they're kind of struggling with the lack of rain that we've had. But as far as how it impacts road construction, it's been kind of great.
Yeah.
And I hate to. I don't want to jinx ourselves, but I hate to admit that we're really, I believe, a little bit ahead of schedule. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes with projects the size of Bowen and the scope of Bowen and others, we're scrambling to get everything done before the snow flies around Thanksgiving. But to be able to move forward and get more things done for the citizens, that's what we're all here for, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and folks can learn more about not only Bowen Street but the other construction projects by signing up for some emailed construction updates on road projects, and that link to the email option is available on the city's Hot Topics section in the website. And then also there is a relatively new construction updates and traffic restrictions webpage that our Public Works Department has created, and same thing, that is available linked through the Hot Topics section on the city's website.
It really is pretty cool, and I think, depending upon what projects you may be interested in, if you get a moment to check that out, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised about the functionality of it, and you can sign up and get updates if you wish to. And just back to Bowen real quickly, it's a major thoroughfare for us and for our citizenry, and I think the improvements not only to the pavement surface, but also to the sanitary and storm sewers underneath are going to be a tremendous improvement.
Right, right. And I believe that this eliminates a lift station, or
Right.
a pump station,
Yeah.
so more reliability and better things for that area.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. In addition to road construction, we also have construction of some other things, and I know our Parks Department is very busy this year with a lot of things going on. One of those is they have an exciting new Four Seasons shelter building that is nearing completion.
Right. I know you and City Manager Roloff have been talking about this project for quite some time, but I don't blame you, because it really is very exciting, and I think it's really going to be a nice feature that the citizens are going to enjoy for many years to come. It looks like we have some video of kind of a rendering flyover, and so you can see how beautiful it really is. I had a chance to just tour it with City Manager Roloff, and the glass on the front and back ends, it's just stunning. The deck that overlooks the Fox River and the Riverwalk is really also very beautiful. And I think, for people that have been in that area for many years, utilizing that space as a golf course.
Right.
Before the Oshkosh Corporation World Headquarters was built there, and some of the other improvements, this is something that I think all citizens can enjoy and will enjoy for many years to come.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and this is actually the first time I've seen the updated video on this, and that is a fantastic looking building.
It really is cool. I think it can hold somewhere upwards of 100 people. There's a kitchen facility in there, and it can be rented just like any other park shelter. But it provides just a little more flexibility and can be used also in, outside of the summer time frames that most of the other pavilions are rented. So it's a nice feature.
Absolutely. And the Parks Department, in addition to having these types of facilities, they need a facility that allows them to house all of their equipment and their offices,
Right.
and everything else that allows them to do what they need to do.
Right.
And for quite a while, they've had a deficient area to do that. And that is being corrected right now as well. So they have a brand new Parks Operation and Administration building that is also nearing completion.
Right. I don't have to tell you, Andy, but, I think I've worked for the city for quite some time. I guess I consider myself to be an old-timer, and the building that our Parks Department really utilized was not in good condition when I got here over approximately 25 years ago. And so this is really something that was of great need. I remember when our latest parks director, I was working with him on the interview process and actually giving him a tour of the city. And when we drove past the parks building, I think I tried to divert his attention to other areas because it just was something that, wasn't our best effort. And now that the council has saw fit to support the construction of this new building, offices and other bays for some of the operational initiatives, it's just going to be something that is going to be greatly appreciated by those employees. I think they'll feel like they can do their job much more efficiently. So it's just going to be a wonderful resource for the employees so they can do a better job for the citizenry.
Absolutely. And the architectural style of this actually complements the public works buildings that are across the street.
Yeah, right. And I'm glad you mentioned that. The proximity of this building, if people didn't know, is really right next to our field operations facility. There's a lot of economies of scale and benefits that can be derived from them, utilizing both areas and sharing resources, which we do, and city manager roll-off emphasizes across departments all the time.
Right.
So I think it's a win-win for the employees and also the citizenry.
And we're hoping to get a sneak peek inside of that building as soon as we're able to, and we will share that on a future city manager's report.
Great.
Okay. Then also, John, we want to mention that the National Night Out is coming up, and that is coming up on Tuesday, August 1st. And this is really a community building event that our protective services are able to get out in the community and participate in some, I guess you'd call them like block parties.
Yeah, I would say that originally it was designed to provide an opportunity for people to get to know police departments all across the country, but it really has grown beyond that now. And you're right, we still showcase our protective service folks, our police department, our fire department, but I think it really is an opportunity for people to get together and know each other too, know their neighborhoods.
Right.
I know there's a lot of parties that go on, and different neighborhood associations are involved in kind of sponsoring get-togethers so people can get to know each other a little bit, feel more comfortable. I know in the digital society that we live in right now, sometimes the personal touch and dialogue between folks is lost a little bit. So I think this is just an opportunity to reconnect, get to know each other, support each other, and feel comfortable.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, these things can include block parties. Sometimes they even have parades. We just saw there's a little bit of a cookout going on there. So, so it's really a great way to connect. And there's information on the Oshkosh Police Department Facebook page with some of the details on exactly where these are all happening. I do know that at the Boys and Girls Club, which we're seeing some video there, they do have a citywide location for it. So if you don't happen to be in a location where there's a local event happening, the Boys and Girls Club is kind of like the catch-all for everybody.
Right. I know City Manager Roloff likes to hit a variety of I think he just likes to go to the different parties, but also I think he just wants to be a resource and talk to people all throughout the city, and that's something certainly that citizens can do as well. It's great for them to spend time at their local National Night Out area, but there's many events going on all across the city.
Right, right. I don't blame them for trying to hit several of them. They look like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
so.
right.
Okay. Well, we're talking a little bit about police and fire. One thing happening with the fire department is that they have a new grant program, and this is in place to increase diversity, and they have some partners that they've been working with in being able to achieve this.
Right, yes. They've actually worked on and been able to garner a grant program with the assistance of Firefighter ABCs, Fox Valley Tech. And the goal really of this partnership, Andy, is to try to help prepare qualified candidates to enter the field while also increasing the diversity inside our organization. I think, our community is becoming more and more diverse, and I think representing the makeup of our community is a goal because we want people to feel comfortable when we're providing services to them and feel at ease. And the more we can, mirror our community, I think the more comfortable people sometimes feel, especially if they're dealing with difficult circumstances. And we talked about, the importance of police and fire and building relationships and making sure people feel comfortable, especially when they're in crisis situations.
Right.
It's important. So this is, I think, a really great initiative.
Well, just some facts about that. The National Fire Protection Agency reported that in 2020, only 9% of firefighters in the U.S. were female. And nationally, the most common ethnicity for firefighters is white, accounting for 76.8%. So that just points out some of those facts about.
And I think we're making progress, but I think we can always do a little bit better. And so I think this is an effort to help with that.
Right. And for those interested in applying for the grant, please visit the Oshkosh Fire Department's website at oshkoshfd.com, and you can get information about that grant. Okay. Another thing that people might be seeing around town is that there's some new terrace trees that are being put into place. And if you live in a neighborhood where there's some new trees, we want to point out that it is important that residents help out and give those trees a little bit of a watering every now and then.
Absolutely. And, we talked earlier in the program about some of the road construction projects. And part and parcel with those road construction projects is repairing the terraces when we do that. And when we repair those terraces, we want to make sure that we have terrace trees, because having a strong urban forest is something that is really beneficial to the community. People may not know that it aids in stormwater. It helps reduce, actually extend the life of pavement. So it's something that's very important. So when these are planted, whether it be from a road construction perspective, or if you're just in need of replacement of a new terrace tree for whatever reason, we've talked about the emerald ash borer. I know you and City Manager Roloff have talked about the struggles we've had as a community and other communities have had with that. It's really important to take care of those trees too. And oftentimes people, they plant a tree and they don't worry about it for 20 years, or they may not have had the opportunity to plant that tree. So it's important to know if you are at that point in time of the tree's life when you are involved in planting it. It can be a little stressful, and you need to provide a little more care.
Right. Just a couple tips. It's best to water early in the morning or in the evening.
Right.
Sometimes that helps so the water doesn't evaporate. And it's also important to not keep the tree either completely soaked or conversely completely dry.
In those, we saw some shots of mulch that our arborists place over the tree. That really kind of helps moderate the moisture. It keeps it kind of on a consistently moist basis.
Right.
Just as you're suggesting is ideal.
Okay. All right. And then we also wanted to point out that over at the Oshkosh Public Museum, they have been honored with some recognition. They had a 2022 exhibition, Helen Farnsworth Mears, A Genius of Wisconsin, and that exhibition, has been awarded the statewide exhibit award from the Wisconsin Historical Society Board of Curators. Right.
No, that's awesome. I think people know that our museum staff have done a great job for many years, and our new director Sarah Phillips and her staff are just carrying that tradition on, but also I think looking at it with fresh eyes,
right,
and trying to collaborate with a lot of different partners in terms of providing opportunities for people to experience new exhibits and things that they think are going to be meaningful for them. I know they, in addition to this, they established the Day of the Dead Festival. We were talking about diversity a little earlier, and they have been collaborating not only with the Oshkosh Area School District, but also with the Menominee tribe.
Right.
So I think providing different perspectives and partnering with different folks, I think provides the opportunity for people to experience different things at the museum and keep it fresh.
Right. And for this particular exhibition, they partnered with the Payne Art Center and the Museum of Wisconsin Art.
Right.
And this exhibit commemorated the 150th anniversary or birthday of noted Oshkosh sculptor Helen Farnsworth Mears. So they received some well-deserved recognition for this exhibition.
Absolutely.
Okay. Then we also wanted to point out, John, that the Oshkosh Community Survey results have been posted on the city's website. And this was a community survey that was taken this past spring. And so we've worked with the consultant Polco to make this survey happen.
Right. And I think you and City Manager Rolfe have also talked about our efforts to expand the community survey. Mm-hmm. We now work with Polco has a national community survey, so we can kind of benchmark ourselves a little bit against other communities in our region and
Mm-hmm.
also nationwide. So I think that's something that has been a good improvement for us as we kind of expand our performance management journey. Mm-hmm. We're always trying to do better things for the community and find out how we're doing and what other things we can do better. And that's what this survey is really all about.
Right. And if folks would like to dive in and look at the details of that, it is available through the Hot Topics area on the city's website. They can take a look at the 2023 survey as well as in previous years.
Right.
Okay. Then also on a lighter note, John, we wanted to point out that the Oshkosh Parks Department has been very busy with arranging a lot of neat things going on this summer in Oshkosh, and they continue with some of the free concerts.
Right. In addition to all the work that they're doing with tree planting and facilities projects, they still have to, this is their busy time because
Right.
everybody, wants to get out and enjoy this great weather. And so an expansion of a lot of different music venues is something that they've been focusing on. Mm-hmm. They had the Tuesday night concert series, I know, recently, and it's really been well received. It started off a little bit slow. Everybody's familiar with Waterfest on Thursday nights in this area, but there's the Tuesday night series right now. I know that this past Tuesday they had, I think, Boogie and the Yo-Yos.
That's right.
And had a really great turnout. It looks like we have some video, so that's great. Mm-hmm. Upwards of like 2,000 people out there, and it's a free concert. The weather was great. People enjoy the concessions out there and
Food trucks.
Food trucks, yeah, and you can see there's a lot of folks out there. It looks like the bounce house is out there too, and
Right.
So not only do we have the free concerts on Tuesday, but also I know you and City Manager Rolfe have talked about Brews on the Bay, and that's
right.
happening this summer out there too. I think those are on Wednesday nights, and it looks like we have a graphic that talks a little bit about that.
Sure. The next one coming up on August 2nd, and there are different craft beers available at that event, and plenty of entertainment. And I know that they have fun for the kids there as well, and food trucks, and so it's just a great party atmosphere at Menominee Park.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a laid-back atmosphere. People can kind of check out all the food trucks and sample some of the craft beer and listen to music. So different venues, the Leech and then Menominee. So we're trying to make sure that we can provide different opportunities that work for everybody.
Right. And more details on all those events can be found on the Oshkosh Parks Department Facebook page. Okay, John, well, we're going to continue on, and we will take a look at the upcoming Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda, and that is from the Oshkosh meeting agenda for July 25th. That is coming up on Tuesday. So here with John Fitzpatrick, Assistant City Manager, and we'll take a look at this agenda for coming up, what's coming up on Tuesday at the next meeting. The meeting starts off with a presentation, and this is a financial report and audit presentation. So we do take a look at an audit of our finances at the city.
Absolutely. I think it's important for people to understand that we have an outside organization that audits our operations financially and then takes a look at what we do, not only numerically, but also operationally to make sure we have the proper internal controls in place, because we're dealing with the citizens. It's not our money, it's the citizens' money. And we want to make sure that we're doing everything appropriately. So this is done annually, and this is a presentation of the findings of that report.
Okay, very good. And then in the consent agenda, on the meeting agenda, there is an item approving a Congress Field neighborhood plan. And I know that we referenced it a little bit earlier. There are neighborhood associations all around Oshkosh, and this is approval of a plan from the Congress Field area.
Right. No, we're very fortunate that we do have a lot of neighborhood associations. And, you know, the purpose of having those neighborhood associations, as we alluded to earlier, is to try to bring the community together, try to make sure that they have a voice. Also to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the specific areas of the city from the neighbors' perspectives too. So we get a lot of information, and on this graphic you can see some of the formed neighborhood associations we have in the city. But this particular one is Congress Field, and that's a little bit over by off of Jackson and near the open field area that people are familiar with that the university manages. So each one of the neighborhood associations takes a look at what they'd like to have accomplished, what sort of state their region is in, and then provide suggestions as to what they'd like to have done. And that's what this is all about, the neighborhood plan for that specific neighborhood or association.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, and then also in the consent agenda, we have several special events again, and it's a busy season for special events. One in particular just happens to be the Salvation Army of Oshkosh is having a Pedal Out Hunger Ride Walk event. That's coming up on August 12th.
Right, yeah. I think this is something that we've partnered with this group on, and I know that Oshkosh Media does that on a regular basis with other community partners. Mm-hmm. So I think this is something that we know the Salvation Army has done a great job for the community many times in the past. We've had, unfortunately, some difficult weather-related emergencies, and they've always stepped up and helped us when necessary. And this is a way for the community to help support them and help address some hunger issues in the community. And it's something that I think we believe in and hopefully the community supports.
Right, and in this particular event, the proceeds go to buy food and equipment for the Salvation Army of Oshkosh for their food pantry and hot meal program. So that's what the benefit is for. And they have multiple bike routes to choose from, ranging from 6 to 30 miles. They also have a 2-mile walking route. So if folks want info about that, they can go to petalouthunger.org and get more details.
Right, get out in this great weather and also support a great organization and the community.
Right, absolutely. Okay, then John, a little bit later in the council meeting agenda, we have new resolutions, and one of those is approval of a development plan and an implementation plan for development that is on the south side of town, off of Oregon Street.
Right, right. I know you and City Manager Roloff have talked about the continuum of housing and care, and we had a housing study that was approved recently. And so this is just another initiative that I think is going to help provide that variety of housing options for our citizenry. This is a multifamily development, and you can see some of the renderings of what it's going to look like. So we're fortunate. I think Kelly Nyforth and her staff are constantly working with developers to try to help improve our housing stock in the community. And again, as we talked about, we need to serve all segments. So it really involves thinking about a whole variety of different things that might work for our community.
Right, absolutely. Okay, and then there's one other item on the agenda, follow-up about taking a look at options for special assessments. And I guess if real briefly you could just mention a little bit about where we're at with looking at options for that.
Sure. We talked about road construction projects earlier, and when those road construction projects or sidewalk projects are undertaken, there's a cost-sharing formula that's used. Neighbors on either side of the road pay for a portion of it, and the city pays for a portion of it. Well, I think because some citizens struggle if they're on a corner or if their property is not very large to pay for some of the assessments. The council wants to take a look at different ideas to mitigate some of the impact on those homeowners. And that's really what this is about. This is just dialogue about different ideas. They've been looking at it for, I would say beyond a year. And hopefully we can come to something that will provide improvement.
Okay, very good. Well, gentlemen, I think we're about out of time, but we thank you very much for your insights and for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Andy.
All right, and thank you for joining us today. Again, that Common Council meeting is coming up at 6 p.m. this Tuesday, July 25th at City Hall, which is at 215 Church Avenue, and we will be there on GovTV and Oshkosh FM 101.9. Thanks for joining us.